Scotty, beam me up.
Oh. Smash. Get over here.
It is pointless to resist.
Fruit Newtons are the cookies with delicious real fruit inside.
Real apple, blueberry, strawberry, real cherry,
And fig, but sorry.
we have no banana today.
Hey mate, what do you do when you see a crocodile?
You run, you slide, you hit the pump, take a dive.
It's Crocodile Mile, the great water slide with splashdown pool. And the incredible boomerang bump that sends you flying. But watch out for the crocs.
You run, you slide, you hit the pump, take a dive.
Crocodile Mile with boomerang bump and giant splashdown pool. From Marshawn.
All right. Special week for the Geek Den. We got a couple of episodes this week coming.
Yep.
Tonight, just the four of us. We're gonna just the four of us. So, yeah, we're gonna talk some Game of Thrones and the new He-Man series.
Aye.
Go ahead.
Viewers beware, you're gonna get offended.
You know why you're gonna get offended? Because we like it.
You know, actually, Krager, that's not bad, but change it. Viewers beware. Watch if you dare.
By the power of Grey Skull.
Quiet, we're
I
gonna
have-
get sued.
Speaking of the
You want to get
handles
sued?
and the
No,
Seven Kingdoms.
It's okay. Disney doesn't own He-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck's sake. So, let's talk about Game of Thrones. We got. Craig, you've only seen up to what, season 3 completely?
Yep.
All right, so let's talk about those 3 seasons right there. Matt, you are the expert
The reigning champ.
between the 3 of
Well,
us.
My favorite part of the series is the first 3 seasons, all day. And the reason I like it is because I read the books too, and the way that the author creates these lovable and relatable and honorable and kind characters that are also very talented and they're at the top of the food chain, and then he has no scruples about violently removing them from the plot of the story with little or no notice.
Yeah.
And in almost every case, no reverence at all.
Right.
Think Ned Stark, think Red Wedding. I mean, you just when their trajectory looks like the sky's the limit, and it every single time, like a train, just whap, it's
Yeah.
over.
Yeah, that's one thing that attracts me because I wasn't really a fan when it was on the air. Like, I didn't buy into the hype, and I think the hype really killed something enjoyable for me because I do enjoy it. It's a very well thought out show, and like you said, anybody at any time can just poof, without any warning, without any notice, without anything, and it's not like Walking Dead. It's not like all the other mass popularity shows that hit with a boom. It was something incredible.
And in that, you know who the character is. It's not just somebody. It's not an NPC, a barkeep. It's a big deal. It's the Lord of Winterfell. It's his firstborn son, his wife, like the king of all everywhere.
Yeah.
Right. Like, bye.
Yeah. Yeah. He just like magically like gets sick. It's just.
And it's not shoehorned. It's absolutely organic.
Yeah, like it's very, very believable, even if it is high fantasy. It's definitely like a period piece at the same time.
Absolutely.
For sure. It's definitely got that medieval,
Yeah.
warrior princess almost kind of feel to it.
Mhm.
But the action, of course, is going to be more. It's an HBO series. And so you're going to have more blood. You're going to have more guts. You're going to have, the sex and all that stuff. But the story is a lot more captivating than people give it credit for, I feel.
Yeah.
Like, for people like me who haven't read the books, you know what I'm saying? Like, people who just watch the show, if they actually pay attention to the story instead of just the blood and guts and the sex and all that stuff, you might actually learn something about people.
Absolutely.
Because even though it's a fantasy show, it's still showing you, like, this storyline shit was definitely possible back in the day with the weapons and everything that they had back then. So,
well,
yeah,
and it's really subtle lines that bring it from high fantasy wizards in the sky stuff to like that king at one point says the one thing they never tell you about is the smell.
Yeah.
Right, and that brings you right to the line. You're just a peon, and you're right there. That's as both a visual, because he's telling a story, and then when you read the book, literary device. That's the draw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're immersed in Westeros. That's a place that exists.
Yep.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And they really do the smell thing when they talk about Flea Bottom, where that Davos is from, and when they talk about where the Freys are from, and the Fish House, and that's something that comes up in even in the shows. It's something they bring up.
Yeah.
And smell's the one thing that brings people everywhere. But pardon me, that's my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it sucks you in and you feel like if you're just paying attention to the story, you feel like you're there among those people. And when Ned Stark gets his head chopped off, you really feel it every time.
Yeah.
If you get as emotionally invested as they hope you do with it. And I'm sure the three of us were whenever we saw that, and it just every time I've seen it, it's a different reaction. But it's still one of shock and awe.
Yeah.
Because you never get used to it.
No. You always have that feeling that it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
He's just too good a person. It's not going to happen.
Yep.
And
Would you say?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, would you say that is on par as a mic drop moment with "No, I am your father"?
I'd say it's kind of worse because you already feel for the character. You already know the character, like, and it's more
not.
of a it's more of a shock.
Yeah.
Where and you got to consider in the context of those two stories, when the one that you're quoting came out, we'd never ever seen a story like it.
Yeah. There weren't any books or anything.
Exactly. By the time Game of Thrones came out, not only is it not really in the context of fantasy original, but he says out loud that he took this from human history.
Yeah.
And he just really exaggerated big parts of it, added things, smacked it around a bit.
Yeah.
Like it's not a direct lift, and he's brilliant at it. But
Yeah.
it's based on the War of the Roses, and all he does is throw in dragons, magic, some weird shit, eunuchs, dire wolves, ice
I dig it.
zombies.
Dire
I
wolves
dig
are
it.
some of my favorite characters. Like
Yeah,
even though they're just wolves, they're some of my favorites in that show. Like same with the baby
So-
dragons.
In the first 3, 4, whatever seasons, or as far as you got anyway,
Mm.
who is your favorite character, and who is your least favorite character?
I mean, we can already determine that like Joffrey is my least favorite. That's a given. That stupid little.
Fuck that kid.
Anyway,
There'll be more.
my favorite would probably have to be Sam Wells, to be honest, because he's such a lovable character. To be honest, like
He's a giant teddy bear.
yeah, and he does only good because he has a good heart. Like that, you know, everybody is so like. The one thing about that story is, you know, everybody is in for each other, and they know everybody is in for each other. And here he comes. He's just like this, like big dope who just only wants to do good things because he's had such a crap life, you know.
He's so incapable. Absolutely, positively incapable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And honestly incapable. He does not pretend for
No.
a minute.
yeah,
He straight up tells you, he's like, I suck.
yeah.
I'll do my best, but I'm
no good
terrible.
in battle. Like, you do not want me fighting beside you because we're both gonna die.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, leave me here. I'll read.
yeah. But instead, like, you know, he saves lives, and you know,
Yeah.
he helps
Without-
people in other ways, and you know, he shows you that not everybody had to be a warrior to be good, you know.
To do good,
Yeah,
for sure.
I like characters like that.
He's definitely.
what about you, Mage? We've all been waiting to hear it.
My least favorite character isn't a character as much as a family, because I can't, with one exception, I can't pick which one I hate more. But fuck Lannisters, man. Fuck Lannisters. Now, most people are, like 90% of people, House Stark. Nope. I'm all about Baratheon, Stormlands. That's my jam. The fucking, that family, because I've read all of Martin's books about because he has like a Tolkien level world history developed for this world, and he's written like 9 books about it. It's ridiculous, and so it's well developed, and I've read them all. He just hasn't done anything past this stuff, and this is what everyone's freaking out about, because this is where he started, and then like he'd break it up with a bunch of books about the history, with the Targaryen history, or Duncan and Egg, or
Oh,
Yeah, but it's
oh, you mean he was a good storyteller?
oh, yeah, absolutely.
well, that's what I mean. Like it's just
That's-
what he's it's not a staple he expanded like other people do, you know, but instead of letting others expand his universe like they would eventually, he did it himself.
Yeah.
He left
Is
no
his-
room for anybody to like remake any characters that would make any sense, because he did it so he did such an in-depth job of every character that there's no way you could add anyone in and make it work.
Right.
And it's natural how these characters are a sum of their family histories.
Mm.
Like, I mean, you don't see that in the show, but in the broader context of the world, it's damn near flawless, that part of it.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite part, being a history guy, even pretend history. I love whatever.
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
Show me.
If there's a backstory, I know, like, to a certain character or a certain part of this, like the main story. Is like, I kind of see what you're saying. Like, if there's another like arc leading up to that point in the story, and I'm all about that too. You
Yeah.
know, like prequel movies, like kind of like the offshoot movies that you get that tend to be better than the movies themselves.
Yeah.
And I think later on there's a conversation about exactly what you're saying here, but I'm not going to mention it now because Craig hasn't got there. But when we meet on the Monday night again and start getting into 4, 5, and 6, then we can lay it down. Because then you can start to see where the backstory starts to make more sense. Because now you're meeting the bigger families. Because then now it's everything's happening all at once.
Yeah.
With everyone.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's what I like about it too, is because he builds it up with the politics, right? It's nothing's without cause. You see everything forming or being disarmed.
Yeah.
And all the work going into that too. And that's where the actors really shine.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not a lot of side story, like, kind of stuff going on. Like, it's very direct and to the point and watchable, you know. It's not like 15 different stories at once. It's one story from several different viewpoints, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I'm gonna kind of go with what Mage said and say fuck the Lannisters, but with one exception. And I'm pretty sure we all know who the exception is.
Tyrion.
Tyrion, yes. For me,
I know a little bit about GOT.
For me, it's like the reason I love him so much. I just love Peter Dinklage and everything the guy does.
The man can do no wrong, in my opinion.
And it's a great character.
And there's
touched on it a little bit last week.
That's one character that the show misses a huge part of the story.
Yeah.
But, and this is what I love about Peter Dinklage, you see the development as a result of what happened off camera anyway.
Yeah.
And it's a very natural arc. It's not abrupt, but he transforms all the way through the series.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's a character that doesn't sit still for a minute.
You can always see. You can already see between seasons 1 through 3. You know, every season he transitions a little more. You know.
Yeah. No, and there's more to come.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Tyrion Lannister. Like you can't form an opinion for the entire series yet, but like for me, Tyrion's probably my favorite of the entire show. Like, I would say that. Just because he's so versatile and he's just so likable. Like, you'll see as you watch that he is a lovable character. And not in like the weird mascot way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's just a genuine character.
He could easily get fucking pigeonholed into being like a mascot type.
Right, just because of like his stature and everything. But
yeah, and he don't.
No. In any role that he's ever done, he's always been like anybody can play this part. He like the way his acting ability is above anybody.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, some of the characters and some of the actors playing those characters didn't get much of a chance to demonstrate their acting acumen too. In fairness, like the funny part is after, because I didn't watch Game of Thrones right away either. They had already got to season 7 before I even started watching. And Sean Bean did an internet interview show where they have the Google thing and they start typing Sean Bean and they rip away and it asks a question. And one of them was, has Sean Bean ever been in a movie where he hasn't been killed? And he said, yeah, one. And it was the funniest thing I ever heard. It was like one of the first movies he ever did, and then after that, dies in everything.
Didn't he live in a National Treasure, or did he die?
I think he died in that.
Oh my God. My man can't catch a break. And he's a great actor.
He is.
He's so good.
Yeah.
My favorite character out of those 3 seasons, tough to say, because some of them don't make sense without knowing the backstory, but I guess would be the Loris, the Flower Knight.
Loris Terrell.
Yes, and I really like that character. And, but he doesn't get developed until a little bit later. But even now, he's so cool because he's done 2 tournaments already, and he lost one to Brienne, and I don't remember who he won the other one against.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Brienne of Tarth.
But at any rate, he's a kick-ass guy in both the novel and the show. He's one of the great sword fighters.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, I'd say that just to be off base.
Okay. That's an interesting choice for sure, but I could see why. Like,
Plus, it's played by Iron Fist.
yeah. I totally forgot about that. Thank you.
Well, hey,
Josephus.
Yo,
do you have a favorite Game of Thrones character, Betty?
favorite Game of Thrones character?
Is well versed in it as we are, but
I would say probably I like Tyrion Lannister, and but I also like the character that Jason Momoa played, called Drogon. Is that how you?
Yeah.
Drogo.
Oh, Drogo.
Yeah.
That's a great character.
Because I was listening in on an episode the other night because I wasn't obviously watching the audio, but I could hear what you guys were watching. And was that him doing some dialogue that sounded like Samoan or Maori language?
He doesn't speak English at all in the entire series.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so. I was digging what I was fucking hearing.
But when he's on screen, he does not speak English.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of his anyway because I dig Aquaman.
He's a good actor.
Oh yeah.
He's a great
Entirely nonsense because George Martin had a linguist involved with creating that language. Like, it's not nonsense. It is, for all intents and purposes, a language.
As I say, it sounded very like a Pacific Islander.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know where.
Because aren't a lot of languages in movies and shows like some kind of root in an already established language?
A lot of them, sure.
And then they just kind of throw other stuff, like the native Wakandan tongue that Chadwick Boseman had to learn for Black Panther, like, is a mixture of, like, I think Swahili and Hosa, Hosa or Kosa. It's Kosa, yeah, because Trevor Noah can speak that really well. Dude can speak like 50 languages. Yes, he can speak like 50 languages.
12 languages at birth.
Yeah. But that's really cool what I was hearing on Game of Thrones, because I thought a bunch of Maori warriors were going to do the haka and go into fucking battle.
Yeah, you expect it with like with those characters because they look like that kind of character, but in desert.
Yeah.
They live in desert type land instead of the tropic like island.
And their real big deal is horses.
Yeah.
They don't do water.
No.
Okay.
No boats, none of that shit.
Would you say, like, if there was a real world, if there was an allegory for anybody, maybe the Middle Eastern people?
I'd say there'd be a combination of Middle Eastern and North American indigenous.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're very tribal, and the horse thing is, I mean, that's both, right? Like, Arabian horses were intense. Same with North American Mustang horse. Like,
oh my God, they're both beautiful. Fucking
it's tough to split it up. And I mean, they're both pretty awesome. So I don't know how you'd split it in half.
The climate too, because I think a lot of Native Americans lived in the desert
Yeah.
area.
Yes.
Here, like California, New Mexico, places like that. So yeah, that's definitely a good comparison. I would say Arabian,
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Native
North,
American.
North American indigenous are in every single kind of climate, like north to south,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
From
Almost
ice sheets to desert.
Almost like the Mongolians and everything in Asia,
Mhm.
Yeah.
because they got desert, they got snow, they got jungle, they got fucking just like we do. We
Yeah.
got rainforests, we've got plains, flat land, all that shit. So yeah, that's definitely a good
Yeah.
comparison.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we lost Joseph.
No,
I'm
sir.
here.
Oh.
I'm here, dude.
Oh, okay. You froze up for a second, I think.
Oh shit.
Or he just sat still. Who knows?
Yeah.
No, I'm listening to our conversation and stuff, but I'm
You're
also
good now.
doing
You're good now.
geeky stuff, reading some comics and whatnot.
All right.
Nice.
And anybody's interested in what I'm reading, it's Shade the Changing Man.
The
That's a mature readers only.
The last thing I'll say about the first 3 seasons, and this was the hardest thing about me getting into the show at all and staying in it. I'm high fantasy all the way, and I need magic. Dragons, that's cool, but it's not the same kind of dragon I'm used to, so that was a little disappointing too. But no magic, that was a heartbreaker. Like, you have to hang in, and it's
Yeah.
I know I'm a dork for it. It's a big deal, or it's not a big deal, and I'm bitching about it because that's really a tiny weakness. But if I had to say one bad thing about the first 3 seasons,
that's your flaw with that show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That part of the show.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
Me, I'm not really that much of a stickler about it, but like you said, you're just a big dork. And, I'm that way with certain things for sure.
Yeah.
The magic, I can do without it. I love the story as it is. You know what I'm saying? It grabs you. It does its best to keep your attention, even though it does bounce around.
Yeah.
And, story arc to story arc, but you're still able to follow. It might take a rewatch or two, but it's worth it, I'd say. Gesundheit.
Yeah. I would say the same.
Namaste.
I would say the same. I mean, for me, like, even though the story bounces, it still stays on the same focus, even though they're different stories, it's still part of the same story.
They all have like the same mission in the end.
Yeah, it's not like other high fantasy where you have like 2,000 different stories to get into. It all coincides, and that's one of the reasons I really don't get into high fantasy, is because it does get too complex sometimes with character development and such, but story development is what kills it. And with Game of Thrones, he doesn't have that same development where it goes insane. It's like a really in-depth story and really focused on what's going on and the point of what's going on, but he can also slap you in the face by taking someone out, like right in mid-episode. It could be like season 1, episode 1, and poof, someone you already got to know is gone.
Yeah.
Somebody you got to know and latched on to because they became your favorite is just poof, gone. They're like, what?
Every time. Every show.
Yep.
You're like,
Hey,
you just
that's
start
the
saying,
hallmark of a good show.
it's like, hey, you know what? I wonder about that guy, and then he's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't ever find out what you were learning about him.
Yeah.
How many people, when that show first came out, were sitting there like, I really like this Ned Stark guy. I really want to see where his character arc goes.
Everybody.
What?
First time I ever watched it, Joe. To this day, I will. That's what we were talking about earlier. Fucking the entire season, you're like, man, this guy, I could see him at the end of the show. He's gonna get the Iron Throne. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. Wah, wah, wah.
And then in like the most ignoble way possible. Like,
Right.
Mm.
And he doesn't fight it either.
No.
He doesn't put up a fight in the end. And it's heartbreaking but it's just like he's a martyr.
I was gonna say, like, Ned is very like keen on the rules, like about like the laws and stuff of Westeros. Like he follows the letter of the law.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's a genuine. That's okay. As like a good guy like that is gonna die in a fucking show like this.
And we
where-
all know that.
Now we
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But it's one of those shows, Joe. You don't want to believe it.
But now, Joe, consider it too in context. These are short seasons, and when you're watching it real time, you're like, he's really developing this guy to be a real big deal throughout the whole story. You can see the long-term plans and what's going on. And you're like, okay, so down the road, he's going to be the regent. And then when Joffrey gets old enough, he's okay. Bwammo! Head off. Like, you don't see it.
Yeah.
Not at all. It makes grown men cry.
And every time you're like, something's going to happen and it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And then it does anyway.
Well,
And it
it's the
hurts.
same, going a little further off season 3 into 4, but it's the same when they take out Joffrey. You're like, man, I wish somebody would take out that in mid-sentence.
Yeah.
Everybody was hoping that little prick would die, and then he did. And
As he was saying it, he starts dying, and it's just like, oh, sweet.
he got Tony Soprano'd.
Well, and like I mentioned when we were watching it, there's no rest for the weary in that series. Like it's villain to villain to villain to villain. They don't get a break.
But
No.
in the same context, like even with Joffrey, like his death scene, his facial features and his eye movements and everything said, oh my God, I fucked up my entire life. You know what I mean? Like you almost feel for him just from his facial features.
But you realize he was an asshole.
Because
Yeah.
yes, but I agree with Surly, like, because it is a child, even though he's an asshole, it's still a child realizing that I fucked up, and then but at the same time you're like, fuck you. You get what you get.
He was married at that point, Joe. He was a man.
Okay.
Fuck that guy.
We're going by Westeros law, so there you go.
No, they hadn't consummated. That was a big deal.
Yeah, they hadn't consummated, so it wasn't.
Yeah.
Legal.
Because it was on the wedding day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
They hadn't gone to bed.
Who married who off to him?
The Tyrells.
The Tyrells married their daughter off to him.
Okay.
Marjorie.
Marjorie, yeah, that's her name.
Marjorie, all right.
Fucking remember.
And because all the Starks had been killed, there was no reason to align with
Sansa
the
was
Starks.
She was
But no,
married.
that's why they didn't marry, is because there's no reason to after everybody was killed.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have
And that's why Tyrion married her instead.
Right. To keep her name somewhat relevant.
Yeah, well, and to keep his claim to Winterfell
Legit.
matterful, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it never went that far, but
No. But boy,
only
what
a
if
Stark can hold Winterfell.
But why don't we go ahead and take our break, and then when we come back, we'll hit up on He-Man.
Sounds good.
Go get him, Dragon Walker! Go!
Dragon Walker, Battle Armor, He-Man, and Skeletor and Merman each sold separately.
Step right this way, He-Man!
Batteries not included.
What's that? Take that, He-Man! May the mightiest power prevail! Yeah!
New Dragon Walker vehicle for use with most Masters of the Universe figures. Action figures each sold separately. From Mattel.
Now, Hordak with some triple trouble. It's Hurricane Hordak with his Sky Chopper. His Thunderball mace bashes.
You're next, Boneface! Come and get me!
His Metal Blade slashes.
He's out of control!
Can anything stop
Oh!
the Master of Disaster, Hurricane Hordak? New from the Masters of the Universe. Action figures sold separately from Mattel.
Dun, 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 dun.
By the power of Grayskull.
Oh, we got
Give
another.
me the power.
You see, Matt, that's got detachable parts. You got to open him. Yeah, man, come on.
It's even got a comic book in it too.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. So does this one,
And-
the Skeletor have?
Yeah. God damn it! I almost
That is-
bought
Mermaid.
Skeletor the other day. Mermaid.
So,
Put right there next to my Hot Wheels car.
as we all know, Clamp Champ.
Clam Champ.
So, as we all know, the one and only, the great Kevin Smith.
Who?
Yeah, who? Kevin who?
I don't.
You guys ever heard of a movie called Clerks?
Nah.
I think he wrote and directed that back in the day or some shit. It was black and white. I don't know. But
I don't listen to hip hop.
yeah, but yeah, I know, right? And okay, yeah. Anyway, Kevin Smith, yes, that Kevin Smith wrote and directed a new He-Man series for Netflix. Now, I'm a little young. I missed the train for the original series. You fellas did not. So, floor is yours, gentlemen.
I don't even know what to say. Go
I-
ahead.
I don't think that it tried to capture the spirit of the original series at all, and so it didn't fail in that.
Right.
I thought it went a new direction. Even he said that it was based on the mythology established in the original one, and if we can split hairs, sure, I bet we could pick it apart a bit, but any of the deviations I'm fine with. And quite honestly, it's like going back to 1986. The half season was a little light on He-Man and Skeletor, which is a little regrettable, but didn't ruin the show. It had an opportunity to establish other characters and introduce some other ones and hint at even more yet. And it was a story. It wasn't a 26-minute serial followed by a moral at the end. And I think what's lost on a lot of people is that it was the original Justice Warrior cartoon. You learned about being a good person for the last 2 minutes of the episode in every single one.
Yeah.
And
I think some of those morals were lost on some people, Mage.
For sure. I'm kind of a dick, so I get it.
No, I can't argue. I have always been a fan. Since I was about 3 years old, I've been a fan. And I even liked the rendition, like the 2000 remake they did, where it was kind of weird and really off, but I still enjoyed it because it wasn't like the original story. It was like the New Adventures of He-Man,
Yeah.
And this is kind of the same context where they don't even really mention He-Man in the title for a reason, because it's not his focus anymore. Like, they ask the inevitable question: what happens if what happens if the ultimate tragedy strikes?
Yeah.
Their answer.
I think that's the lead into what upsets everybody isn't so much what it wasn't. It's that they had expectations for no reason.
Yeah.
And they weren't met.
Yeah,
Or
they
like
didn't really follow what was going on, to be honest.
No.
And they seem like fair weather fans because like a lot of the complaints I see about Tila is like, oh, He-Man's a girl. Like, what are you talking about? It.
In what sense, though? Like, I watched. Okay, like I said, I missed the original series, but like I watched one, and I enjoyed it. But I remember you guys discussing that, like how people were complaining about Tila being He-Man and everything. It's like I'm missing that.
Yeah.
No, you're not. It's that character is so central to the first 5 episodes that really bothers everybody, and that's where that identification's coming from.
Okay.
Because the problem is
around her.
Well, the story's established. That means that at least most of it was already in a cartoon, which means it's not like it's extraneous. I don't understand the problem.
Yeah,
I mean,
and that's kind of what I'm getting at is they were already established characters. Like, what are you talking about? Like, Tila is not something new. Like,
even the aesthetics, I like the changes. I like that there's other characters to get invested in, because what made He-Man rich was that outside of the show, they had so many action figures. It was ridiculous. I had a big pile of them, and it was so fun to sit and wait and watch He-Man and think, is this guy going to be in it? Is this guy going to be in it?
Yeah.
And that was the best freaking part of that show. And this one's no different.
Yeah, because the story is fantastic. You know how they introduced Scareglow to it, and what they did with Triclops. You know, it's all fantastic storytelling. Like, what would happen if both of them went up in flames? Who's gonna take over? You know, and that's pretty much what it comes down to. And even the way they portrayed Evil Lynn is like everybody is kind of focused on like doing what they have to do to survive now that He-Man and Skeletor are gone. You know, I don't care about spoilers around here. We've all seen it.
And I think
exactly.
I think the really clever part of that is it has both. This sounds so dumb. An anti-villain, or an anti-hero, anti-villain element to Evil Lynn.
Yeah.
And sort of the same for Tila, actually, because the whole flip out, really, they just lost their kid, and you matter all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But again, it's not enough to make you not like it. It's just like, I think there could have been a development in between the death of Adam and her blow up.
Yeah, there could have been. That's one thing where you didn't really, you know, they gave good reasoning for her blow up, of course, but in the same context, not really.
Well, just not at that time.
Yeah.
But that's not a story changer. That's not a quality reducer.
We're supposed
you're
to
limited by 5
apart.
episodes, right?
Yeah, we're not even done with the show yet.
Yeah. But you're supposed to pick things apart.
Yeah, but it's not even something that bothered me a lot. It's just somebody made that point. They got really vicious about it, but they made the point. I'm like, you know what? I can get behind the point. Not the nastiness, but okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Joe, you have a lot to say about this.
I do, actually.
You are a huge He-Man mark, so.
Yeah, that was the first one of the first cartoons I ever watched as a child. Probably actually the first that I got into and got a lot of the toys for. And I'm a huge He-Man stan, if that makes sense. I've always had a place in my heart for that. It's one of the few things in all of geekdom that I fucking love. I love that franchise almost as much as I love my girlfriend and my children. Let me put it that way. That being said, what I think the problem here is that everybody that has a problem with this new incarnation was expecting a goddamn cookie cutter rank and file fucking He-Man show. That's not what they got, and they got a big fucking problem with it. And you know what I say to that? Fuck you.
Yep.
Blow it out your fucking small dick energy, living in your mom's fucking basement, complaining about shit on the internet ass. Kevin Smith, Mark Bernardin, and a whole slew of fucking creators created something different. They took the established mythology of Eternia and the Masters of the Universe lore and rolled with it and did something completely different and told new fucking stories. They took the two main characters out of the equation. He-Man and Skeletor.
Yeah.
What happens if you do that? Well, let's explore and find out. Let's tell some stories. Isn't that what a good fucking storyteller does? Like we were just talking about Game of Thrones with good storytelling.
Yeah.
That's what Kev and crew fucking did, and they knocked it out of the park, in my humble opinion. Now, if anybody's got a problem with that, how the fuck is Teela now girl He-Man? How? Because she went on a quest to unite the fucking Power Sword? She was He-Man's closest confidant. Of course it's going to be her that fucking... And the blow-up part, you know, I kind of agree with you guys. But,
Yeah, but
honestly, how did you not connect the dots that Prince Adam was I'm just saying.
Clark Kent here, come on.
Yeah, exactly. Take the glasses off. Oh my God, Superman.
It's not like he's wearing a fake mustache. I mean,
Exactly. Don't mind me. I need to slip away for a couple minutes.
Could have had the whole
you
film.
know, it's funny. You look just like Adam with an armor plate on. No.
Let me tell you something, brother.
Right? And I love the fucking adventure they went on to try to find the fucking Power Sword. And then they met up with, you know, and they touched on everybody that was affected by the aftermath of the fucking, of the sacrifice.
Yeah. I mean, everybody so far. I mean, they're 5 episodes in, you know, there's so much storytelling involved.
And there's so much fucking storytelling. And it was so nice to revisit fucking places and just see how people are reacting to this. Like the Evil Lynn's got the last little bit of magic in her fucking in her orb. That is it Enchantress, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. That's her name. God, I always want to call her Falcon Lady.
Nope, sorry, Sorceress, isn't it?
Sorceress, yes. I always want to call her Falcon Lady. Even when I was a little kid, I called her Falcon Lady.
Like, yeah, you're right, Sorceress. Yeah.
There you go. And to see Evil Lynn have a fucking arc and like, you know, like you said, like a little bit of anti-hero, you know, and like she had a little bit of character growth. Like she's not just I serve Skeletor with the evil purposes, and like, you know, she bonded with Orko.
Yeah, and
even paid her respects to him when he died.
And I think that's the key. Is
R.I.P. Orko.
A lot of development that happened. Every character.
Yeah.
Even the royal family there. Like it. I really like the potential, and I think the problem is instead of doing 5 and 5 and then like just splooge, they should have just made a whole first season and did it episodically.
Yeah.
So then you could have been with it to build up. You wouldn't be chunked out and have all this time to get pissy.
Yeah, make it like a weekly episode, you know.
That's why the Marvel Disney
Bit
Plus
by the week like we used to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Episodic television.
Like it originally was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's how Loki. That's how Falcon and Winter Soldier was. That's how fucking
WandaVision. The Mandalorian, for God's sake. Yeah. Like
the really popular franchises. That's a problem that they have. Is there was a whole rich 80s golden era where everything was new the first time.
Yeah.
And you're really going up against people who are expecting the moon, and it's just not possible.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the effort's there. Don't put anyone down, but you're never going to achieve what I want to see.
The problem is everybody turned into a bunch of Veruca Salts, and they all want it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
but they don't know what they want either at the same time.
No, they don't.
They want like pen and ink style again, you know what I mean? Like they want to pay like hundreds of animators to work nonstop around the clock to make 5 little episodes at a time for them to watch.
It's just
it's not like it used to be.
No.
Huh.
And I mean, it's what you can see building up here is that they have no intention of having just a 1 or a 2 off. Like this is, I think, as long as people give it a chance and keep watching, you can see them build something huge out of this, especially with the wealth of source material in that, and not just the actually written stuff, but like they made a bunch of characters that never made it anywhere.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of room, and it would be so awesome. And that's Kevin Smith's house. Like, forget about it. That's the guy to do it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Couldn't have picked
He's
a better guy to do it.
He's a detail Easter eggs. I remember when I was a kid guy.
Yeah,
and I understand what he was trying to do, or what he felt trying to do, what he was trying to do. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, and it's not to go off course, but it's the same way with Rob Zombie and the Munsters. You know, if there's one thing you know about Rob Zombie, you know his legacy with at least that series. You know, and from what I've seen, like the still shots of costumes and shit that he's been releasing, it's from episodes that you're not going to understand unless you're a real fan. Yeah. You know,
you had to have enjoyed the Munsters before.
Exactly. And it's the same way with Masters of the Universe. You're not going to get it if you vaguely remember it. Right. You're just going to get pissed off because you're going to be like, they killed him. How could they do that?
Like, which is my case, because I never really sat and watched the original series.
Yeah.
However, my uncle was a huge fan, and he watched it all the time. So I was around it. I just never really paid attention, but like, I can remember back to certain parts of the original series with this, because it is a direct sequel almost.
Mm-hmm.
It's just from somebody else's viewpoint.
Yeah. It's not like the New Adventures of He-Man, which I still enjoyed.
Right.
Yeah, I just, when you can see the depth that they're putting into it, where they're not trying to, I mean, he's going to sell action figures, but that's not what the purpose of this cartoon is. Not like the original one. That was a total marketing machine.
Yeah.
And this one's not. And you can tell because every single character has an open slot.
Yep.
Nothing in there appears permanent, and that's in the spirit of the original one too, because whoever died in original He-Man, nobody.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, like I said, it was a rank and file cookie cutter show. Like it was just originally just a show to sell toys.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of lore there to explore and world building you can do, and that's what they did with this new show. They said, okay, well, everything in your childhood show that you love so much happened.
Yeah, and see, maybe let's
explore and let's see what else could happen.
If you're really looking into their minds, maybe they're mad because it's something they can't enjoy with their kids. When you look at it, you know what I mean? Like, it's not really made for kids, and maybe that's one irritating aspect of it is you can't enjoy it with your kids. It's not like the Rugrats reboot or anything. It's something for people that lived in that time that remember watching it. You know. It's made.
I don't think so. I disagree. I think this is a cartoon that can build up new fans because it's so much more inclusive. I mean, the original one tried that. Like I said, it was the original social justice cartoon with the morals and all that.
Yeah.
This one. I think that's the evolution, right? In the first run, they had to tell you to be a good person. In this one, they're assuming you're a good person, and they can just do this because you're cool with that.
Yeah. Well, maybe when I say kids, I mean more like 6-7-year-olds. You know what I mean? Like it's more like a young adult version these days.
That's fair.
Teenager, maybe.
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
Like preteen to teenagers, maybe would be a good age group, I would say.
Yeah, but you remember He-Man fans back in the day? We were like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old. Some of us, you know.
Yeah.
I wasn't even thought.
See, I think that's what it was. Is because it was new, with no expectations. It was always awesome. Right. I never saw He-Man I didn't like.
Yeah.
And now it's just too easy because I I never hated He-Man. So if there's some little tiny thing I can rip off and complain about, well, hooray. And I just, even every single point I've made tonight that's negative about it, it's just something I noticed. Like,
Yeah, just
I don't care.
Yeah, it's still enjoyable. Like, it's just little things you pick up. Like, okay, if I was to say something, like if I had to say something negative, this would be it.
That would be it.
Yeah.
The point is, though, is the potential is huge. Everything's open, and that's what I love about it. Nothing leaves the spirit of He-Man.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Right? And to be angry about a cartoon, I mean, 4 million people signed a petition about Game of Thrones to change the 8th season, and nothing happened. So good fucking luck changing He-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they're not gonna get it, be able to change fucking The Last Jedi, they're not gonna be able to change fucking He-Man or Game of Thrones.
The difference is the He-Man's good.
Mm-hmm.
I get why they want to change the other two. They sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
But He-Man, so they changed her hair and featured her a little more. Are you fucked? For real? That's not a problem.
Yeah.
Not a problem at all. That's just people being assholes.
Yeah, because we live in a generation of woke verse, whatever the hell what do they call them? Sheep or whatever kind of nonsense they're talking. It's all anybody is embracing. It's all they care about is they live it, they breathe it, they sleep it, they eat it, they shit it. That's it.
People just need to worry about being people.
Yeah.
Decent people.
Everything that comes out new is going to be, what can we argue this?
And nothing in this felt shoehorned.
Nothing at all.
It all felt organic to me.
It was all very genuinely done, like very genuinely done. It's like Alanis Morissette playing God. It's so genuinely done.
Yeah.
Yeah. It comes from a place of love and respect for the source material.
You can tell this was a passion project by Kevin.
Yeah.
And it's with the intention of doing it forever now. Like,
he's wanted to do this his entire life.
Yeah.
I can see him making 140 episodes.
Yeah.
As long as you just give it an honest chance. Like,
absolutely.
The story's too big not to.
Yeah.
And as much great stuff as that man has already done, and he's still got more coming.
Yeah.
So
there's legions of like Masters of the Universe fans who are just going on and on and on about this show. It is for fans. Mm-hmm. That's who it was made for. Like,
and also,
if you vaguely remember it, you're not gonna like it.
Yeah.
In fairness, they're in a minority. They just happen to be loud. Mm-hmm. And that's the stuff that shows up on algorithm, right? Like, most people are smart enough to know better.
Yeah.
Or they at least have good taste.
Yeah.
That's what they're gonna do.
You see the negative first.
Mm.
And for every stinky comment, there's like 80,000 awesome ones.
Yeah, because you see how many people are reacting to that shady comment somebody left,
Yeah.
And that's what's really bringing it up.
I've seen far more positive stuff said about the He-Man series than negative.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
All day. And I try to spread it too, right? Like, I try to say it's okay to pick these parts out and say, this is enough to make me not like it. You just don't have to be angry.
Yeah.
Right? We're allowed to disagree.
Yeah.
You're allowed to have bad taste and not be awesome like me. That's
absolutely
okay.
You're entitled to your wrong opinion.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my.
Yep.
But yeah. Okay, boys, let's say we take one more quick break, and then when we come back, we'll plug up some of the shit we got coming up.
All right.
Yeah.
Which is the real ninja? Evil master of martial arts. Will Clapchamp get a hold of him? I have the power. Figures sold separately. New from the Masters of the Universe, Ninja and Clapchamp. Evil skill against steel grip.
I've got a thing for gold, really gonna make a monkey out of this big fella. Gotta roll the barrels before he pops.
I've got a thing for Dr. Wacko. Gonna flip his lids before he flips his top. Do it all before the timer stops. I've got a thing for things.
Try all 3 new things. Go
Gorilla, Dr. Wacko, and Astronauts.
I've got a thing for astronauts, gotta save them all before the timer stops. Here comes the alien licking his chops. I've got a thing for things.
Collect all the things for Milton Bradley.
All right, so that was a fun conversation. Talk a little bit of Game of Thrones. We're gonna always talk Game of Thrones at any chance we get.
Yeah.
So we're gonna catch up a little more on that, Kreger. You know you got your homework, and we know you'll do it. Yep. And here's our homework for tomorrow, because we three idiots, for whatever reason, are going to put ourselves to the challenge of the Super Trooper syrup chug. And our buddy Derek Mooney from PRD. So not looking forward to it, looking forward to it.
I'm stoked.
Oh yeah.
You may see a whole nother side of us.
It's a bottle of diabetes, people.
Starting to question the wisdom of doing it at the beginning. Maybe the end might be better.
5 seconds later.
Yeah. I think you should put a disclaimer at the beginning of the video.
I need TP.
Oh, I'm gonna need some TP.
Oh,
Can't
bunch of stuff.
clear me right out.
people watching this, I won't be participating in this because I'll be at work, but you can watch my beloved colleagues ruin their pancreases.
No. You got to drink syrup and then go like knocking on people's door, yelling at them. Hey, everybody, how's it doing? My name's Joe.
Remember, we talked about this in the chat. The only syrup I'm going to be chugging would be boysenberry syrup. If I can get my hands on some, and if I'm I buy it at Albertsons or fucking Walmart. I can get my hands on some in time, and if I can tune in, well, even though I'm on the clock, I will. No promises. So. And I might just do this as a separate clip, like, just chug a bottle of syrup, and maybe have Kreger edit it.
Put a timer on it so we can judge it.
All right.
That way we can get the ultimate champion.
Yeah.
The problem is, though, boysenberry syrup bottles aren't as big as like what you guys have. I think they're like 16 ounce or something.
Nope,
it might be.
Too.
And of course, we always have a contest going on that's still live and in control.
Yep.
Design us a logo.
What all you got to do is go to our Facebook and send in your submission to our messenger. That's all you got to do.
That's it.
Bam.
Just message us.
Just send us a message on Facebook. If you're watching this, there's a chance you're already following us, so please. And if you're not, what the fuck's wrong with you? Get over to Facebook and follow us on Facebook.
Even if you don't think you're much of an artist, try anyway. You never know.
Try anyway.
It can be anything you want. Meme, mashup. Go to our personal Facebook page, find a picture you like of us. Do whatever you want.
Or not.
We need a logo.
We need a logo.
First place gets that fucking Terrifier comic right there, signed by David Howard Thornton and
Damian Leone.
Yeah, Damian Leone. And second place will make sure you get some neat shit. Stickers.
Yeah, some stuff.
Sure.
Not a comic.
No, getting a comic.
Yeah, high five. Pow.
High five. You get an autograph.
Personally.
You get the participation trophy.
I will draw you a picture.
Participation trophy. Those don't exist.
All right. So this Sunday, airing next Monday.
Sunday.
Monster Truck Rally. Sunday. We'll be talking to a guy named Austin Buffington. He's a musician was in a band called Left to the Wild. We're not too sure what's going on with Left to the Wild at the moment, as he's in the middle of moving back to Wisconsin. He's going to talk to us a little bit about that, and as well as some more shit. He's got a lot of music projects coming up. He's big into Star Wars. He's got all kinds of different geekdoms going on. So it should be a decent conversation. Now, Monday or Tuesday, maybe, we'll do another wrestling episode, possibly. It's in the planning stages, but I got some ideas. But on the 19th, to air on the 20th, we are talking to Mr. Chris De Lorenzo, a good friend of ours from our punk rock groups. Funny motherfucker. Matt, you kind of set this up.
Resident scallywag and swashbuckler.
Yeah.
Extraordinaire.
Fellow Facebook jail.
Frontline healthcare worker. Real hero.
Yeah.
If I may say, gentlemen, he and his wife Danielle, Dr. Danielle De Lorenzo, for posterity's sake, have given me, as a parent of an autistic child, innumerable invaluable advice on what to do to make my autistic child's life a little better.
Absolutely.
Because they are parents of an autistic child themselves. Hi, Luke.
What's up, buddy? But yeah, he's a good cat for sure. He's always like, if I've ever like said anything on Facebook saying like, you know, something in my life's not going right, he's always been one of the first ones to be like, yo, you good? We don't talk very often. When we do, it's always a good time. So we're all looking forward to that.
And his mean game is on point.
Sweet. That man's sense of humor is sick and depraved, and I love every fucking minute of it.
When Bernie Sanders wore those fucking mittens to the inauguration,
oh my!
Chris De Lorenzo picked that ball up and scored like 53-point shots with it.
You know what? It would be fun to do like the top 10 Chris D moments, because the other thing he did was really beat the piss out of Vin Diesel in Fast and the Furious. And that was top shelf. I know Joe was upset by it, but it was one of the best Facebook jokes of all time.
Don't you love how I countered it with the fucking Samuel Jackson one?
All right.
I tagged only him in that one.
After that, we kick off our horror season leading into Halloween.
Spooky season. Woo!
But Craig and I are going to Pennsylvania HorrorCon on the 21st and 22nd of August. And we're meeting up with our good buddy, the pop culture punk, Chris Styles. We're gonna shoot some Geek Den stuff, like live in real time. Might do a couple live streams I've been thinking about doing.
Please do.
Yeah. Come on, we have to.
Yeah.
You know.
The kids love the live streams.
That's what the kids are doing these days. But we've talked to Chris. I'll talk to him again just to confirm everything, but shouldn't be a problem. On the 23rd, going and airing on the 24th, we're going to talk to Chris in our post HorrorCon episode to kick off our Halloween season.
Yep.
And the week after that, we got B horror movie actress, paranormal investigator, antique shop owner, entrepreneur, Rachel Hoffman. Very beautiful woman. Very beautiful woman. It's gonna probably matter because, you know, pretty girl. We like the weird guys in Euro Trip. Not often we get a female in the den. In fact, I think there's only ever been one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bridget.
Yeah.
Eat it.
Yep.
Well, and Megan snuck in there a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucker. Joking.
That's my beloved you're talking about. Only I may call her a fucker.
Hey Joe. Hey Joe. Will you call Megan a fucker for me?
Do I look like I want to die?
No.
No, you don't.
Oh, boys! Next time you see me, I'll be coming from my new digs.
That's right.
Yeah, I'll be set up in. I'm moving from Idaho to Oregon.
But, yep, that's what we got coming up here on the Geek Den. Joe's moving on the bigger and better things, hopefully.
Yep.
Yeah.
Before we go, I got a few mashups I pulled up to share.
Sweet.
Yeah.
There's always time for mashups.
No, yeah, of course.
So I got 3 I chose here. Old ones, you guys have seen them probably a million times, but first we have King of the Hill.
I love it.
Every viewing pleasure, we got Nightmare on Sesame Street.
Yeah.
He found a way to reach the kids.
And then last but not least, Army of Darkness.
Oh my god.
Oh,
I gotta try my hand at meme making, man. That looks like a lot of fun.
Right. That was great. But yeah, we got a lot of things coming up. Bring you guys a lot of content coming, a lot of guests. And then even people you've never heard of. Mostly people you've never heard of.
Lots of people you've never heard of.
We've even got a couple of my hometown buddies that I grew up with coming on soon. So, but those will be fun episodes. They're funny. We wouldn't have them on otherwise.
Yep.
I've told these boys stories about these fellas. You're gonna love it. So
I look forward to meeting them.
yeah. Yep. Funny enough, we got Bob and Rob.
Bob Ross. What?
Bob Ross. Yeah. Dig him up. Let's have a good conversation with him.
Zombie Bob Ross. I'd totally talk to him.
Hey, Halloween's right around the corner.
Hey, Creepshow pulled it off.
Fucking A. But until next time, this has been the Greasy Spoon. The Surly Smurf. The Mad Mage. And of course, G.I. Joe.
Knowing is half the battle.
Remember.
Yeah. We are.
Later.
Harness the power. Dino Riders. The Dino Rider is spotted by the evil Rulons.
Take this, young star! You need glass, Hammerhead! Pick out someone your own size, Big Eyes!
The Rulons on their Triceratops aim their lasers.
I'll distract him!
Prickly Turret from his Styracosaurus fires.
Deep rocks, Rulons!
Triceratops with motorized walking action. Styracosaurus and Quetzalcoatlus with figures and battle gear. Dino Riders!
Take a good look. It's the Cobra Pogo.
Joe's got trouble. He's got it bad. Cobra's got a pogo and it's up in bad.
Pogo's loaded for action.
It's the new Cobra Commander, Cobra!
But Joe's coming back with the G.I. Joe Slam.
On the run for gun. G.I. Joe Slam.
It's out back in Crazyland.
It's got a 4-cannon gun that can swivel to face the enemy.
G.I. Joe, American hero.
Live the adventure of G.I. Joe. Cobra Pogo, G.I. Joe Slam, and figures sold separately.
Go, Joe!
We now return to the real Ghostbusters.